Hello everybody, welcome to another training series from Ocheck Technology. And in today's project, we're going to be looking at creating a login page using just HTML and CSS. And I believe that by the end of this class, you will have more insight on how HTML and CSS work. If you look at the background of this screen, you'll be seeing that we have a look of what we are going to be achieving at the end of this training. So quickly, let's dive into the training section. First of all, you need to open your Visual Studio Code, and for those who have not installed a Visual Studio Code, it's a text editor. You can look at one of my previous videos where I put you through how to install your text editor, majorly the Visual Studio Code. But if you have any other text editor, feel free to use it. It will also give us the same thing. So now I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code, and yes, this is the environment. First of all, we're going to be dealing with the file management system, arranging all our folders and our files that we're going to need for this project. So if you come up here at the file menu, you click it, you go down to open folder. You want to create a folder and also open that same folder, and we're going to be doing that on our desktop. We're doing that on our desktop. So here's my desktop. At the moment, my desktop is empty. So at this top menu, you have a new folder. So I'm creating a new folder and I'm naming it login. And I'm just clicking enter. While I've highlighted it, I come down here to select folder, and it will open up in my Visual Studio text editor, giving me access to be able to create other files and a folder inside using my text editor. Alright, now we are in our folder. So the next folder we're going to be creating now are CSS, font, image, and JS folder. Inside here, if you look at the top here, you have login. This is login, the main folder. If you look at this part here, you have a new file, folder, this for refresh, and this for collapsing folders. Now we're going to create more folders with this menu, with this icon. As we click on it, I'm naming the first one CSS. I'm pressing enter. I'm clicking on the black space, this empty space. I'm coming back to create another one, and I'm naming it fonts. Yeah, I'm clicking on this place, and I'm coming back again, and I'm creating another folder, images. And the last folder, which is JS, just in case we might be using a JS, but I'm not sure. So for the last file we are creating now, at the blank space, I'm clicking on this one. I'm going to click on this new file, and I'm writing index.html. This is going to be where we are writing our HTML code, and we're coming into the CSS folder. This CSS folder, I'm clicking it. If you look at it, the arrow is dropped down, unlike this. And I'm going to create a file there, and I'm going to name it style.css. Style.css. So this is where we're going to write our other file. Now I want us to put, there are some other files we'll be needing here, which we are not going to write. They are already written for us. And that will take us to my website where you can download those files. You can also browse it online and you can get the same exact file. If you come to my website, ocheck.technology/download/access file, you get those files. For the first tutorial we did a coming soon web page. These are the files there, but for this login page, this is a login page. We're going to be using Bootstrap 5.01, and we're going to be using flat icon font CSS. That's for the CSS. Then for the font, we're going to be using this flat icon Wolf 2. So I'll implore you to download the three of them, and then you put this one in the CSS folder and put this one in the font folder. So let's do it together. So I'm downloading the Bootstrap, also downloading the flat icon, and I'm downloading the flat icon, the font. So yes, three of them I've downloaded. So now we'll go to my folder, go to your folder, these are the files we just download. Quickly, let's go down to our desktop. Let's go to our desktop. You find out that this folder is not on our desktop. Login, and when you open it, yeah, you see our CSS, font, image, JS, and index, which we created while using our Visual Studio Code. Now for the CSS, we still have our style. So I want us to go back to our download. We're going to pick the two CSS. This is a CSS with hashtag. We're taking the two of them. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it inside my CSS. Yes. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to my font. Currently my font folder is empty, and I'm taking just my font and I'm pasting it inside my font folder. And if we come to our Visual Studio Code, we find out that our CSS, which we added, are now there, updated, and our font icon already updated. So lastly, for me, I am going to be making use of the images which I used for my first tutorial, which was coming soon page. I'll be transferring those images because I'm repeating those images with this one. So I will be putting them into that file, and then we'll continue from there. So alright, what I'm about doing now is to copy the files I need for my images into my images folder, and I'm only just using a BG, a background, and an icon just for this project. So now back to our HTML. As we all note in the first video training section, I told you that there's a shortcut to input all the codes needed, all the default code needed for your HTML. By the time you input HTML, you come and take HTML5. It has given you all the necessary information. At this title here, we're going to change this title to login. Now we'll save it. So the first thing we're going to do is now we want to try and make sure that all our CSS, our font, our style sheets, including our far icon, the icon that will be at top of our web bar, will all be here. So we want to link them here. So the first one we're doing is linking up our far icon. So when you type link, you see it here, you have the far icon. So once you have done it like this, will it come now and include the place where we are picking it from? I'm picking it from images, and this is the far icon. The next one we want to do now is to link in our CSS. So we're linking in now our style sheet, and then when we type link, we have CSS here, and then now the only thing we just need to correct here is we need to correct this. This will not be correct, so we are going to CSS, and we are taking the first one, which is a bootstrap. We're taking another one, link, CSS. The next one is our flat icon. The last one, link, CSS. We're taking the last one, which is a style, CSS, style sheet. And I believe that that should be all for now. So there's something we need to still add, which is our type. Our type should be text /CSS. So we're repeating it for every other one. And then let's come down here and do hello. We are here. And then let's run up it from our desktop and see if we can get so this is our index. We're running it up on our browser now. So we are here, it's already showing, and then this is just the far icon. This is what I've done so far, and then this is our login, which is our title, the title of our website. So quickly let us go back and now let's start. In our body, we're going to be implementing a class, and we're going to be having a class to be with a background BG. And then quickly let's come and style that immediately. Here we're having .bg, and inside it we're having background, and let's just set it blue. We have background. We're going to be setting a background image, but before that let's run it to be sure that we are seeing the blue here. You see that everything has changed to blue, but we're going to still cover it up with an image. So image, background image URL, and then inside it we're going to be having dash dash. Then we're coming down to image, and we're taking our background image. We're going to be setting background repeat, and we're going to be using no repeat. And next, and lastly, we're going to be having background size, and we're going to say cover. We want it to just cover the whole page. And when we come back here and we refresh, I have that my background now, which is displaying. So now we'll move to the next one. We're creating the first, let me put a comment. And here we're going to be having login start. And then we just repeat it, login end, and we give a space, and we're going to be putting in our first div. The div is going to be having a class of login, and then let us set that, let's begin to set our div. Let's set the CSS for that login dot login. So if you look at it, I'm putting a dot because I'm trying to call up that CSS. The first attribute we're giving here is top, and for our top we're giving it 0, and our bottom we're also giving bottom 0. Next we're giving a width, and we're using 100%. Next we're giving a mean height, that is a minimum height, 100 VH. The next we're giving a text alignment, and we're putting the text alignment to be center. So every text we're putting in should be center. Position for this should be relative, yes. And the display, let's give it a display. Let it display, and let the display be flex. And then justification, justify content. We want to justify the content. I want to maintain it center too, because we want everything to apply align at the center of the website or the web page. Also the items, we want it to be center. And then we're giving a padding, a general padding of 30 px and 15 px. That's pixel. That's for the login page. And then if we come to our browser now, we actually are not seeing anything, but it's reflecting there. We've only just set it for now. So we'll move down and we add the second div, and that div we're going to be calling the class from our bootstrap, a container. And then we're taking another div and we're setting our role, class role. And then we're having another div, and inside this div we're having a class column, and then after that now we're having a div that we're going to write a class, we're going to write a style for, and that div is going to be login dash inner dash form. So quickly, let's come and write our class for this. Now for this we have a dot, so I'm pasting the other one, and inside it now we are having a max width of 400 pixel, margin we're setting 0 and auto for it. Let's save and let's refresh, because I want you to see where things begin to appear. So we'll go back here, and then inside this form, inside this inner form, we're going to do a div for our logo. Then we're going to call the class logo. And just before we move on, I want us to just pick our logo using our image tag. And we're going to take our image from our image, and we're still using this one, and we'll call it, the alternative is logo. But we forgot to give an anchor tag. We needed an anchor tag for it, so not really necessary. So we're putting the image in between the anchor tag, and here we're just using index.html. So let's quickly go and style our logo. For our logo we have dot login dot logo. So let's set the space for that. We're having text, align, we're having center, we're having max width, and we're using 150 pixel. We're also having margin of 0, auto, and let's use minus 35 pixel. Let's come and refresh our page. So this is our logo now. So the next one we want to move to is our logo image. So we're still going to write on that CSS login dot logo and then img, and then for that now we're going to be giving a background color. For me, I'm going to be using white, which is FFF, and I'm going to be padding it. I'm going to be giving it 20 pixel. I'm going to be creating a width for it, and the width is going to be 100 pixel. Also a height, I'm going to be using 100 pixel, and this is based on my logo. And I'm also going to be giving a border radius of 5 pixel. And then let's come back here and let's refresh. So now this is the border radius. If you look at it, there's a little curve here. This is the border radius, and because of the size of my logo, I made the width 100, the height 100. This is just because I already understand how my logo is. So it depends on the kind of logo you're using. If yours is wider now, you can now increase the width to either a 200, a 300, or it's higher, you can now increase the height. So now let's create the body part, the detail part of this login page. We're creating another div, and this div is going to carry a class, and the class is going to be named details, and this is where our form is going to be. Let's first create the appearance of this detail class. Now for this, now we are going to be calling it from the login login inner form. Then we're going to come now to details, and then now we're going to giving out some attributes for the CSS. First is padding. Let's create a padding for it. 70 pixel by 30 pixel by another 30 pixel, and then let's add a background color so that we can see this. For this, I'm going to be using color that is from my logo, 880 880E or E. I just mean E0E. So let's go to our website and let's see. So now this is it. This is a detail where our form is going to be. But let's continue. We're still working on it. And the next one we're going to do is max height. Or max width. Let's do max width first. 400 pixel. Then a margin. Now margin, we're giving it 0 auto and 15 pixel. And then lastly, we're going to do a border radius. We're going to carve that. The border radius of let's make it 15. Let's make it 15. Oops. So you see it. I think it's supposed to be. It's even too much, but let's leave it for now. I think I would have preferred to work with 5, ordinary 5. So that one has been set. In our index.html, right inside our div that carries our details, we're going to input our h3, and we're going to be writing sign into your account. Then we're going to be fixing in our form tag. And right inside our form tag, we'll be giving a div tag. And this div tag will be carrying a class. And that class is going to be form dash group and form dash box. So it's carrying two classes. The first one is form group and form box. Now under it, we're going to be putting in our input, and our input will be the one that we carry the first one. The type is text, a placeholder, and this placeholder we're using it for username, and we're going to make it required, and let's give it a class of input text, and I think that should be it. Then we need to add if you remember, we installed or we added our flat icon, and yet this is a place we want to use that flat icon. gonna be, for this our icon tag, we're gonna be having a class. Flat icon user. Yep, and I think that should be all for now. If we go to our browser now and we refresh, so this is what we have now. If you look at this side, we have your icon, we have our h3, we have our placeholder that's inside our text box and it's giving us our user name. So now let's try and style this and make it look okay. So if we come to our CSS now, we're going to be using our .login inner form, and we're going to take h3 now. Let's start with our h3, and first of all we're going to give it a margin of 0 space 0 space 25 pixel. Then we'll come down to font size. The font size we want to give it there is 20 pixels. We'll move to the next one, which is font weight. Our font weight, let's give it 400, and let's set our font family, and let's give it comma, and then this and no, this is a comma, yep, I think, yeah, let's give it a color. In my case I'm going to be using white, and then text align, and make it center. So let's see what we have now. If we refresh, now the header is white, it's at the center, the font looks nice now. So let's go back and work on the next one, login form, and then we're going to be using the first one, which is form dash group. If you remember, that's what we have here. We have the form group, and then we have the form box, and then we will still treat the input text. So we're taking it one step, and for this form group we're going to just be adding only margin for it, and the margin is going to be margin bottom. I'm giving it a 20 pixel. Then we'll move to the next one, which is the form box dot form box. That is our login inner form box. And in our form box we have to do it, we're giving it a floating a left float, a width of just 100%. Let it fill up everywhere. Position should be relative. Position relative. Okay. So actually it won't really take much effect. Nothing much just change. But let's continue. The next one now, we're still on our form box, but this time we want to work on our input. Form box, but this time we're working on our input. And for our input also floating left, width of 100% also. And we're giving it padding of 11 pixel, 15 pixel, another 11 pixel, I think this is the bottom, and then 45 pixel. And that is that for this one. Let's check what we have now. If you refresh, you look at it now, it's coming out. And then the next thing we want to work on is now on the input text class. This one, input text class. We worked on the input, but now we're working on the input text class. And for that one, we also have our .login inner form. We're also having our .input text. And first of all, we're going to work on the font size of 14 pixel. Next is our outline. Outline should be none. And the next is our color. We'll be using a custom be using a color which is probably should I call it a custom color? So my hashtag 717171 is not the regular colors. And then we are setting our borders, the border radius to 3 pixels, and let's give the border some shapes. We'll give it 1 pixel for the border line, and let the line be solid, and let the color also be with an hashtag db. Yep. Let's give a box shadow of 0 pixel, 3 pixel, and then 0, and then 0. Then we have this RGB. Yep. So here we want to give this first one to be 0, the second one to be 0, the fourth one is also 0, so not really colors. And then this last one we're going to put it 0.06. Yep. So let's come back to our alright. So the next one is going to be, we just want to complete every other CSS just to tidy up everything now. Login inner form. We're still going back to our .form box. So we want to tidy everything now. And we're looking at our eye, that is our icon. And we're taking position. Position should be absolute. And top 8 pixel, and then left we're going to use 15, and then font size, let's use 19 pixels, Yeah, let's see how it looks like now. So I noticed that our icon hasn't yet taken position because it ought to be here. So if we go back to our code, we have 15 instead of 15 pixels. So let us correct that to be 15 pixels. And once we refresh again, yeah, our username is now carrying an icon user. So now we're going to repeat this input box again, and the next one is going to be carrying our password. We're not going to be writing any CSS. We're just going to copy and paste the previous one we have. So if you go to index.html, from here you can just highlight and copy, paste. Once you paste and go back to your browser, you have it. So now that we've duplicated this input for our text, we want to make some changes here, and this one is going to be changed to password because this other box we're fixing in is for our password. So right here in the type, we change it to password, and the placeholder will be password. Yeah, and our flat icon now will be changed. We're going to change it to password. Now if we go back, we refresh our browser, we find out that now it has changed. It's now a password, and this for username. Now if you notice something, for the username we have text for the type, and for the password we have password for the type. Now this is where everything changes. For the username, I can input letter, numbers, any other character, and they are displaying. But for the password, now whatever I'm putting in, it won't display. If we change this quickly to a text and we refresh in my password, now you see what I'm writing. So that's the reason why in the password type we fix it as password. So we don't have any CSS to input for this because the CSS that cover the username has already taken care of everything we have in the password section. So we want to add our button now. I think that's the final part of it. We're going to be adding a div. Yeah, and this our div is going to be carrying a class, the class form group, and md 0, that is margin bottom should be 0, and then inside it is going to be carrying our button, and our button will be login, and our button is also going to be carrying a class, some classes. The first one is btn-md, the other one is btn-theme, and the last one is btn-block. So we're going to be writing CSS for these three classes: btn-md, btn-theme, and btn-block. So let's go to our browser and see how it looks like for now. If you notice, initially our detail is not covering up the whole form, but I think now everything will be adjusted, so it's not taking it. So we want to style this now. We don't want it to look like this. We want to make it look a little bit fancy with our CSS styles. So let's go to our style, and then we're going to have our .login.form, and this time we're going to be having .btn-md, and we're going to be putting the first one cursor, should be pointer, and then padding, we're having 12 pixel, we have 40 pixel, we have 11 pixel, we have another 40 pixel, and then we're going to be having lettering, spacing, and for that one we're just going to leave it at 2 pixel. And then the next one is font size. Let's work on the font size. Font size of 15 pixel. Font weight. Font weight of 400. Font family. Let's still use the one we use up. So let's just come copy this one and use it here. Then border radius. Let's use 50 pixel. Alright, then let's go to our browser and let's see how it looks like. Alright, so it's getting shape, it's taking shape now. So we're now going to the next style, which is BTN theme. And for our BTN theme, we're going to be having our background. And we'll be using, for me, I'll be using white. Box shadow. Zero point 0.05 pixel. And okay, let me repeat this one, but this time I'm going to just change this to be 0.2. Border, I'm doing none. And then color, I'm going to use a custom color, which is 122766F. So let's save this and let's go back to our browser. And then when we refresh, if you notice now, my color is now this, the outline is white now. So for the last class now, we're having .login inner form .btn theme. Let's take the BTN theme, and this time around we want to do the H over. And for that, we're going to fix in the box shadow. We want the box shadow to also have an H over effect. 0 0, then 35 pixel. Then we have our arrow. Now we're taking this other one, this one that we used last year, and the next thing we want a background color. As a background, I'm using a custom color, which is FCBEOO. Yeah, 00. And the color for the text should also change its color to a custom color of 122766F. Yes, and I think that's all. And before we go to our browser, I want us to correct an error which we made at the top here. It's supposed to be 0 0. Then we have the last one to be 5 pixel. Yes, 5 pixel. That's the drop shadow we want there. So let's go to our browser and let's refresh. So now the last one which we just did, the H over effect. The H over effect. Yes. So now, so far so good. We have achieved creating a login page using just HTML and CSS. And if you look now, it's beautiful, it's simple, it's very beautiful. So I want to believe that this project tutorial video has been impactful to you. You've learned one or two things. For those who are just starting off, for those who are already into it, I know that you've gotten just a design template which you could use over a lot of projects. So kindly subscribe to my channel, make your comments, let me know where you have difficulty, and let me see how I can come in to assist you. And then you could also give suggestion of videos which I could come up with for you, majorly based on HTML and CSS. And give a thumbs up, give a like to this, share the video. I'll see you in the next project. Thank you.